Welcome back to the video. In this video, we are going to see the data definition language. As I explained in the previous video that the SQL is commands is categorized into 5 brackets. That is data definition language, data manipulation language, and data query language, data control language, and transactional control language. In this particular video, we are concentrating on the data definition language. So what is this data definition language? So DDL is a subset of SQL that is used to define and managing the structure of the database. Means it's used to define the structure, means we are creating the map of the table within a database. So in this DDL command we majorly use the 3 main command like the create, alter, drop. So the create command is used to create a table and define the structure of the table, and the alter is to change the structure of the which is already defined by using the create, and drop is to drop or delete the table from the database. So let's see one by one how it works. So let's jump onto the workbench to see all these command one by one. So this is my workbench. So before creating any table, I need to specify the database which I want to create that table. So within which database I want to create that table. So I need to use this command, use the database name. So I will use the practice database. So if I run this, so here we can see that the practice database is highlighted with the black. So now I can create that table within that data. So I will use the create command to create a table. So create table. So this is the command, create table. Then after that I need to specify the name of the table. So the name of the table is students. So after that I start a bracket. I will specify the column. So the column name first column is ID. So the column name I need to specify all the data type, constraint, or default value. So in the data, the column ID, that is in the form of the integer data type. So I will mention the integer. Then if I have any constraint for this, so I will put a constraint. That constraint means the rules for that apply on that column. So constraint is it should be primary key. Primary key means that each column is identified as unique, and another constraint is it should not be null. So I will use the not null. So this is about my first column. Then the second column is the name. So the column name is name. Then the integer, the data type is varchar. Varchar is represent the string value. So the 10. Then any default value. So there is no default value. So I will mention the third column as the. So the third column is the age. So that is in the form of integer. So we need to mention the data type. There is no default value. So the next column is the, let's say, country. So country. So the data type is varchar. So 10 character, up to 10 character. Then the constraint, or I can give the default value. So if while filling the data, while inserting the data, if anyone don't give the country, so let's create a default value. So the default is India. So default name is India. So if there is no entry given for this country column, by default it will take the name as the India. So by this I will end. So if I run this, if I execute this by control enter, it's successfully run. My table is created. The schema for my table, means the map of my table, is now created. Then I can describe the table. So describe students. So if I describe students from here, so here I can see that my student table is described. It have the field like ID, name, age, and country, and data type also specified like integer varchar, and the null value as I mentioned, there is no null value for this id, so here I can see that there is no null value accepted, and it also primary key. I can define the primary key, foreign key, or super key, anything. So after this we need just understand what are the data types is. So first understand what are the uh, the order of the defining the column. So in defining the order of the table, so we need first give the column name, as I give id, name, age, and country in my case. So that is the column name. First we give the column name, after that we will give the data type of that column name, what data it should store, what type of data it should store. For example, the id is integer and the name is varchar. Then we mention about the constraint, means any rules that need to be applied on that column, means the primary key, not null. So if I want the particular column is the primary key, means the unique primary key, that I need to specify that it should be a primary key and it should not be null, and I can also specify it should be unique, like that. So after that, if I want to give any default value for the column, is if while inserting the information, some information is not given, so by default I can give the values. Like for example, for the country I created a default like India. So while inserting the information, not that information not mentioned about for the country, it will by default take the India as a default value. So like that I can define my table. So here I can see in my, so this is a process of defining the table. What I did here is I created a outmap for my table. So I created a table, I defined the column name, the data type of that column name, and constraint of that, and all the column name, like the name, the data type is varchar, means the string value, and the age, country, and the default value. So this is basically creating an outline for the table. So here the another thing is the data type. So the data type of the SQL, there are many data type. Here we can see that the tiny int, very small number, the whole number 1 byte, and the integer, the 4 byte, the big int, floating, and the decimal, like a floating, double. If I want to store the floating, I need to specify the data type as float or double, and the string value I have here the character or the varchar, then the text value, then the date and time, dates, time, and date time, boolean value, boolean or the bool. I can specify which data type, which type of the data I need to store in that particular column. So this is how I can create a table. Then the next command I have in the SQL, the DDL command, is alter table. So if we want to make any changes or modify or change the data type or the column, if we want to add extra column to the existing table, we have to use the alter table command. So this statement in SQL is a powerful command that allow you to make changes in the structure of an existing table. So you can add column, you can change the data type of size of the data type, or the rename the column or drop column. So let's see some of the example that we can done, the modification we can done by using alter table. So let's jump on to the workbench. So this is my workbench. So in the student table that I just created, I can see the column. So I have the 4 column like ID, name, age, and country. Let's say I want to add one more column to this existing table. Then I need to use the alter command. So alter table, the name of the table. The name of the table is students. So I have to give the name of the student. Then I specify what I want to do. So I want to add column. So it's a prompt like same as speaking English. So column, the name of the column, I will give the marks as a new column. Column name is marks. Then I need to specify the data type. I will specify double or float, and I close with the semicolon, and I will execute this. So if I refresh this, I can find it over here. The new column is added. So this is how I can add a new column to the existing table by using alter command. I can also change the existing column like by using the same alter command. So alter table, the name of the table, that is student, the name of the table is student. If I want to change the age, so for example the name, if I want to change the name column, so I will use the change keyword over here, change the name. I want to change the name, then what I want to change the name to, I want to give the first name. I want to change the name to the first name. Then the first name I need to specify the data type, so I will specify varchar 10. Then I will close it with a semicolon. If I run this and I will refresh this, now here I can see that the column name is now converted to first name. This is how I can change. If I just need to rename the name without changing the data type or any default value, I can use a rename. So it's the same alter table, the name of the table, that is student. So alter table student, if I want to change the ID to the student ID, I need to use rename, the name of the old name, and to the new name, to. So rename, here I have to give the column, so rename column, so rename column ID to student ID. Then I semicolon and execute this code. Then if I refresh this, here I can see that the ID is now converted into student name. So this is how I can change the name of the column. This is how I can change the name, and likewise I can modify the column. I can add new column, I can add a primary key. So many things I can do by using the alter table. So if I want to delete any column, let's say if I want to delete any column, I need to use the alter command. So alter table, the name of the table, that is student. I need to drop that marks, drop column. I need to specify I want to drop column marks. If I execute this, if I refresh, here I can see the mark column is now deleted. So this is how I can use the alter to change the name, to add a primary key, to change any data type or default value, and I can also use this to drop any column. So this is about the alter table command. Then last we have the drop command in the data definition language. So drop is to delete or drop the table or drop the database. We can drop the index or primary key by using this drop command. So let's see in the workbench what can we do by using the drop. So if I want to drop any table, let's say I will use drop table, the name of the table. So the name of the table that I just created, that is student. If I want to drop this table, I can use drop table, the name of the table, that is students. So if I run this, I will drop this, the command will drop that column, that particular table from my database. So I can also drop the primary key. I can also drop indexes from the table by using drop command. I can also drop the entire database. For example, drop database, the name of the database, in my case that is practice. If I use this, the practice database will be deleted from the schemas. So this is how I can use the drop command. So if I execute this, let's say, so if I refresh the tables, I don't find that student data frame because this command will delete that from the storage. So this is how I can use the drop command. So in this video we learned about how we the data definition language, majorly the three command, mainly the create, alter and drop. The create is to create a table, define the structure of the table, then alter is to modify the structure which is already created, and drop is to delete the table from the database or delete the database. So this is about this video. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the next video. Thank you.